Fun stuff.
So sorry, let me know when you want to take the reverse advantage of the buy one get one bowls.
Well, I'm in the office every day this weekend except for Friday.
Except Friday.
Unless something changes.
That was fun. Check your Moe's app, Moe's t-shirt individual on this chat. Brant's like, that's not me. Brant, you get a haircut? Looks good, man.
Thank you. Did that today.
Fantastic. You cut it, or you have somebody that does it?
I just went to the Great Clips.
Do you have a person at Great Clips?
No.
Really? You just trust in the notes they put together?
Yeah. Sometimes it winds up a little bit better. Sometimes it doesn't.
I go to Great Clips.
But either way, it's a haircut.
I go to Great Clips, but I have a person.
Yeah.
Because I like to tip them. Nicely.
Just a tip.
Just a tip.
Yeah. Sometimes it winds up a little.
Can y'all make sure we hear everybody? Oh, Thinking Inside the Box is with us tonight.
Yo, yo, yo.
I see it. Yo, yo, yo. We hear everybody. I'm usually the odd man out, right? Mic test, mic test,
Well,
mic test.
see.
Audio, 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 audio. Good evening, sir. Good evening. I'll make sure we hear everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking Inside the Box.
Oh, good.
I think we got a good bit in a couple weeks ago, and either Renee or Bush was like, don't hear Richard. Merm's in here. Good evening, ma'am. None of the numbers updated on the Restream client, though. Guess who's back? Dead air. You guys ready? Let's get pumped.
Yep.
Podcast time. Let's go. Sell ourselves. Recording.
Pump up the jam.
We got to reach out to that guy and put something on his calendar. If y'all still want to do that.
Sure. Why not?
You guys got the shit down here. Everyone except us are the quiet one. Says Thinking Inside the Box. Bush is here too. Renee is here.
There we go.
He's in. Give me some audio.
It's a little staticky.
Audio. Who does?
Cesar.
What happened?
I hear him.
Did you hear that?
Like normal. I don't hear the static on his
Okay.
end.
Weird.
I feel like I would.
Don't know.
Hey, sounds good.
Okay, no. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Brent had to clear his ears out. He got his ears lowered. He got to clear his ears out. Are you guys ready? Brent, you didn't add anything to news?
No.
288, the number's right. Why does Renee just say Xbox disappointed me?
Sure.
What is happening? What is wrong? Is it physically wrong with his Xbox? Boosh says needs Cesar to unzip a bit more. Yeah. Go ahead, Cesar. Hey, this is what everybody wants. It went from hot tubs to speed dating. Murmy knows the speed dating that I'm talking about.
Nah, man, you gotta join my OnlyFans for that shit.
Oh, we used to joke about that, and then OnlyFans really took off. And then people were talking about hosting content there. Was it Twitch that took away the percentage of the payouts, and people were talking about going to OnlyFans for payout for video
I
content?
mean, they have like reality TV shows on OnlyFans too. Like
I see that on Twitter. It's on my Twitter ad.
I was about to say, on, yeah, I think it was Twitter. I saw something about like a cooking show, and then I looked down and the thing was OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is
Check
this?
us out. Your favorite
watch
content is on OnlyFans.
I watched some news special about it or something like that where they're trying to branch out.
Whatever works. They got the infrastructure in place, right? Why not just have an unnaughty bit? A naughty section. A naughty bit. Cesar's trying
normal videos.
Cesar's unzipping for the unnaughty bits.
No, I got paid for that.
Actually, no, Boosh actually prefers buttons. Boosh likes the button down. That's his preferred undressing. Brent leaned back. I thought we were going to get some sort of demonstration.
No buttons. No buttons. Solid shirt.
Okay, just do this. Then you start from the bottom.
No, I'm good.
All right, let everyone know they're being recorded as usual.
I see this.
Always and forever.
Being recorded. This is just voluntary recordism. Boosh says buttons all day. I knew you would agree. He comes by it honestly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 288 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and fashion podcast. Yes, come here for tips on how to zip, unzip, button, unbutton, and just pull from the bottom. Tonight, Konami X limited run games. What could that entail? Sony shows Gravity Rush at CES. T-Pose with us later. New portable Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. I need to reread this story and see if there's been any updates. I'm curious about this one. And we have your January PlayStation Extra and Premium games and your titles that are now on Nintendo Switch Online Plus. Thinking Inside the Box says, as long as you have pasties on the nips, you're good. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman. Joining me with said pasties on his nips, Newsmaster Brant McKee.
Okay, yeah, sure. Always pasties.
Boosh says only one way to find
pasties.
out. We have a thirsty-ass audience. Y'all realize that? Like, they meet us with this same level of... Sometimes it's like, what's wrong with us? Like, what kind of community are we cultivating? And then they meet us... Boosh says only one way to find out. They meet us and surpass us somehow. Speaking of surpassing expectations, we have our lore master and page master, Cesar Concepcion II. Welcome, Cesar. We're here, gentlemen. We had a 3-day weekend. It was glorious. Someone played in a game the entire weekend, it sounds like. Watched a lot of football.
Yes.
Yeah, find out later. We did no Warzone last night. I know Boosh got on some Warzone. And I got sent a video of a dub. I guess that's the preamble. Konami X limited run games. What is this? What's happening? Brant, I'll let you take this because I have some show and tell at the end.
Oh, okay. So Konami is getting together with limited run games to produce physical re-releases. Of course, there will also be digital re-releases of 2 of their franchises. They are Felix the Cat and Sparkster or Rocket Knight.
Was this Felix the Cat collection previously announced? Because I feel like Cesar and I were thinking this was the Tiny Toons collection, but apparently they had talked about Felix the Cat before.
No,
it was leaked.
That's
on a
what it
ratings
was.
board,
Was it the Korean?
Nobody knew where it was coming from or who it was coming from. It was
The
Felix
Korean
Cat
ratings board? One of those super early ones.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
both franchises are coming to PS4, PS5, and Switch. This was announced last week. Pre-orders are now open. Rocket Knight Adventures will include the carbon engine-powered versions of Rocket Knight Adventure from 1993, Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventure from 94, and it's just Sparkster from 94 as well. The collection will include all new animations, intros from Studio Mila.
Yeah, are they the original?
Features,
are they the original
boss rush mode.
creators of that? Studio Miala?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I'll do some research.
Museum mode and never before seen content. Meanwhile,
This is their animation studio in Ireland. I doubt it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Felix the Cat bundle features both the 1992 NES and 1993 Game Boy titles. In these games, players can save and rewind game progression at any time, Konami said.
So we're all familiar with Rocket Knight Adventures. Brant, did you know there was 2 other games in that series?
Not to my knowledge. I did not
look it
know.
up too. I was like, what?
I knew the original for that I have on the Genesis, and I know that they released that one for the Super Nintendo as well. And then they did that kind of reboot, I guess, for
360 and PS3 ones. Thinking Inside the Box has such BS, they skipped the Xbox. Have there been Carbon Engine games on Xbox? Has Limited Run ported any of their Carbon Engine stuff to Xbox? That might be the thing. It might not be this particular SKU.
I don't think it was until last year that Limited Run really started dipping their toe into physical Xbox media anyway, and they've kind of done it sporadically. It hasn't been like super consistent like Switch and
Was the
PlayStation.
the Cowabunga collection? Carbon Engine?
No, but River City Girls Zero is Carbon Engine and it's on Xbox.
So that's not an excuse as far as like tool wise. It must be some licensing thing. Thinking inside the box, reach out to your local Konami rep and let them know you want these games on Xbox.
And it could be always one of those things where they announce this now, and then within another couple months, whenever, or a little later down the road, maybe they do come out with an Xbox version.
I mean, you never know, man. Microsoft might have a show they want to save it for that or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
But they're usually quick after these things to be like, hey, it's also coming to this.
They do know.
I mean, we had the same issue with Braid for whatever reason, wasn't on Switch for the longest time.
Yeah.
So they announced it later. The same thing happened where people were bitching about, like, where's the Switch version?
And then at the very bottom of the article, they do say that there's one more Konami Carbon Engine collection, which will be announced later in February. February 20th.
This has to be Tiny Toons.
So.
Tiny Toons.
Draw and Grave is in the chat, says it's Microsoft's fault. I think
Always.
that's what we're leaning towards.
Probably.
So I keep saying we were discussing this. As this news came out, Cesar and I happened to be playing Warzone, so it's not like Brant was excluded from the announcement and the discussion. Because then I started scrambling. I thought, and I have a physical copy of Rocket Knight Adventures for the Genesis, and it's the good like vac pack with the hanger that's got the hanger on it still. And it's complete. I've got the cartridge, because I was looking to see if I had even heard of or owned the other two in the series. And I've got the booklet. It's like black and white printing and the cartridge in there. And luckily, this is what I try to do as much as possible. I saved the receipts from said purchase. And it's kind of it's a testament to its day, because this is a Rhino Video Games receipt. Not just one, but two, because 4 days after I purchased Panzer Dragoon 2 for $14.99, I had to take it back. I'm assuming that Saturn game didn't work. So I gave them back Panzer Dragoon 2 and got X-Men for Sega Genesis for $2.99. I got Bionic Commando for a Nintendo for $2.99. I got Rocket Knight Adventures for $1.99. And I got 3 used strategy guides for $5 a piece. Remember they had strat guides too?
Damn.
Yeah. The first transaction had Panzer Dragoon 1, which was $7.99 in the disc only, and I've recently discovered that disc doesn't work. The aforementioned Panzer Dragoon 2, and then I paid $7.99 for Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. I remember that being Russell one of our first Xbox games, because it was an Xbox showcase for sure. Thinking inside the box, have you done Splinter Cell yet? You usually do obscure. Yeah, he says those prices though for sure. Have you done Splinter Cell? Those are good Xbox essentials. That one for sure. What Felix the Cat? It's from Game Boy and Nintendo in 92 and 93. I've never played a Felix the Cat game. Our generation just knows it as the clock, right? The clock with the wagging tail and the theme song from the cartoon. It's not like a cartoon I grew up with. Did y'all?
It's whenever they did that reboot at some point. I don't remember when the reboot was at.
Felix the Cat reboot. Was it part of like Animaniacs or something? I just don't have. I mean, I guess it's something good to get and bring forward. Did we? Like, I don't own any of these Felix the Cat games. I don't know if they're like $900 or something. Maybe it's some crazy value.
All right, so they had a new show called Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat. Came out in 1995 and 1997.
I don't even remember that, and that would have been my era. See how much Felix the Cat for NES is. You didn't play that one in Germany, Cesar?
I don't recall.
Thinking inside the box notes, most of my time spent in Splinter Cell was soft modding Xboxes. Remember, that's one of the games you can exploit. The soft mod through the memory card. Felix the Cat NES. Maybe this will answer why this is such a big get, maybe. Yeah, the cartridge alone is $100. I guess that the cheapest one I see is $98.99. Complete in box sealed is $514 right now, and it still has a day and a half left. Is it a good game? That, expensive game doesn't necessarily mean it's decent. I wonder if it's any good. It's made by Hudson Soft.
Oh my gosh, the Game Boy game isn't any cheaper.
How much is the Game Boy game?
I'm seeing posts for 99, 119, 109. And most of those are just cartridge alone.
All right, here's an NES on eBay with controller hookups, including the original AC adapter with Tiny Toon Adventures, Super Mario 2, and Felix the Cat for $195 starting bid. The buy it now is $375. Stupid. Yeah, Drawn Grave doesn't remember much of Splinter Cell either. Michael's our resident Splinter Cell fan when he was on the show. I know he's a Splinter Cell fanatic. All right, look forward to those. And we're going with Tiny Toon Adventure Collection for that mystery collection on the 24th.
That's what we're hoping for. I mean, I don't know, man.
What other
it could be something
Konami
silly
collection?
could be like a Bomberman collection for all we know.
What other great Konami titles are out there that we really need? Boktai? The Boktai collection? Holy shit, thinking inside the box. Thanks for that antidote, but I don't think I'm going to read that one. The cartoon, apparently, he says the Felix the Cat cartoon goes places, especially the first episode.
Oh, gosh.
Boktai collection, you got to take your Switch outside, let the sun soak up the Switch. PS5, you have to take the PS5 outside and let it, light sensors go off. Connect the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they already redid the Castlevania Advance collection.
Castlevania, what's your Konami?
But that
Konami Pyramid is Castlevania, Metal Gear, Turtles. We've already had Turtles. I'm thinking like Konami of yesteryear. Boktai, I like how I threw Boktai in there for some reason. The Carbon engine wouldn't give us any Zone of the Enders titles, would it? Those are too new for what this Carbon engine scales.
No, and those are... I would say some of those aren't really lost to time because you can still buy those on modern storefronts.
And it's specifically an unannounced Konami Carbon Engine collection, which will be announced February 24th. It's part of some show or showcase.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Go ahead.
I mean, like I said before, the only one big enough I think they could do it with a bunch of games would be Bomberman. That's it.
Bomberman collection would be dope, though.
That's the only, because there were so many like Saturn ones and PlayStation 1, Super Nintendo ones. Just
even just having Saturn Bomberman like online maybe with a bunch of controller support. How many controllers do the Xbox and PS5 natively support? Do we know what that is like locally? Remember how a PS3 when it came out was like specifically 7 Bluetooth devices? You can connect 7 Bluetooth devices to the PS3, specifically 7. No more.
It was was it inside the NBA?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all 7 controllers. Yeah,
all 7. Local players 1 through 7. Yeah. Oh, next up, from VideoGamesChronicle.com and Jordan Medler, Gravity Rush film footage shown off at CES. No release date or plot information for the film was revealed. The first footage of the currently in production Gravity Rush film has been shown. There are tweets from a Wario64 tweet that are captured in this article, and whatever they're trying to show off just doesn't look good. There's a character like T-posing with a crazy face. If you zoom in, it's almost like a blockhead from GoldenEye.
Low poly.
Yeah, it's super low poly. Drawn Grave says just 4 controllers, so that actually checks out.
It says 4 to the PS5. The series says it can connect up to 8.
Up to 8? So maybe some Saturn Bomberman.
That's what it
Saturn
says.
Bomberman for the Carbon engine exclusive. That's thinking inside the box finally gets an Xbox game. It's a Bomberman collection, which would not be a bad get for anybody. No release date or plot details for the film have been given. This was part of Sony's CES keynote. Some weird mocap and stuff in there. Definitely look at that clip.
Didn't they show some weird like Patapon stuff along with this?
Patapon was included. They also mentioned the Zelda thing. Like it was a whole push into multimedia. Maybe, I mean, this stuff takes years to get the ball rolling and things like that, but it definitely would make sense after the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie, right? Hey, these properties do pretty well, and if we do a good job with them, like Super Mario Brothers movie is well made, as well as The Last of Us. The Last of Us production did a lot of good for them. Sony's keynote also briefly mentioned the upcoming Legend of Zelda film, calling it, quote, an amazing tale of adventure and discovery. That sounds like even worse than an AI-generated description of a Zelda movie would be. All right, I think that's it. Is this how we want a Gravity Rush to come back?
I mean, it'll be fine, because I think somebody had made a comment that the last CES they showed No Way Home, and it was very archaic CG also. It's just
early stuff.
Yeah, they were like, don't be too harsh on it, because it's like it was the CG they showed in this was similar to what they showed in No Way Home, and in No Way turned out that way because it had Doc Ock's legs coming through there.
That's right. I think I remember that outroar.
It was very, very bad.
Yeah.
Looking.
We can't be part of the outroar of the internet because they won't show us stuff like this if that comes out. It's just have trust in the process, right? This is very early on looks at what a Gravity Rush. At least they haven't forgotten about Gravity Rush. I think that's the main takeaway.
Yeah.
They know what that is. God bless Japan Studio. I almost sent this to you guys, but there was a very convincing article, and I found it. It had been written maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but they kind of talk about PlayStation and their kind of the path of what they've released and kind of the soul of PlayStation since Japan Studio closed. And a lot of my thoughts on some of those things aligned with this article. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. We used to get all sort of wild stuff out of Japan Studio, and it really defined what so much was special about that PlayStation brand was these offshoot. Not a lot of them were mainstream games, and they were there for fans of games, and it's refreshing when we get something and it reminds me of Japan Studio. I'm like, oh, this has that spark that they would have brought to the platform as well. Where did Alan Becker go? He was part of Japan Studio through some of my favorite era. That PS3 Vita Japan Studio was out of this world. I'm curious where he ended up at.
We did this before.
I know.
I think we looked them up.
Studio Liverpool's another one. I know friend of the show, Boosh, is going through the PSP library, and I was like, you gotta play Wipeout. The Wipeout games are amazing. And Studio Liverpool is gone. They got absorbed into, I think, Guerrilla and a couple other studios. Draw and Grave notes, moving to the U.S. really hurt Sony. Is it more of a U.S. company now? According to his commentary. Let's move on to the next one. Also from Jordan Midler and VideoGamesChronicle.com. Handheld Sega Genesis and Mega Drive that plays original carts announced. But I already have one of these things. It's called the Nomad. Each system will come with a Nintendo Switch-like dock. A handheld Sega Mega Drive that plays original carts has been announced. The Mega 95 from Hyperkin is an entirely portable system that will support all officially released cartridges for Sega's system. According to The Verge, it seems like The Verge got the scoop on this. That's where I read the article. The machine is based on the currently existing Mega Retron HD gaming console from Hyperkin, which is also compatible with the Sega Mega Drive. The Mega 95 will also come with a Nintendo Switch-like dock, which will allow players to plug the machine into their television and connect additional controllers. The machine can toggle.
Just like the Nomad.
What's that?
Just like the Nomad.
Yeah, the Nomad did have AV out, didn't it? And an extra controller port. Did it have AV out? Out of the top of it? I know it. You basically needed power going to it. You needed that AC adapter, and then it did have a second controller port because Russell and I used to do Toe Jam and Earl on mine. Man, I got that thing dirt cheap back in the day, too. This, I'm assuming, will be less expensive than Sega Nomad, and much more recent. Here's the kicker for me. The machine can toggle between 16:9 and 4:3 aspect ratio, and comes with a 5-inch display. Now, we haven't seen anything running on it, but that picture they've posted, that display looks pretty nice. That looks promising. A release date or pricing information for the Mega 95 is yet to be confirmed. Oh, I skipped. Battery life of around 10 hours on a full charge. It's not bad. It's a lot of Genesis. The company currently sells several machines that emulate classic consoles, including a portable Super Nintendo and Super Famicom machine that retails for $120. So I guess that's your ballpark right there. Yeah. Then VideoGamesChronicle.com summarizes the Sega Mega Drive and the Genesis for us. I guess that's needed for, hey, that's for anybody that might stumble on this article. It is best known for its pack-in game, Sonic the Hedgehog. The sequel, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, would go on to be the system's best-selling non-pack-in title. It would later be surpassed in the 90s by the Sega Saturn I don't know if surpassed is the correct term. I think I might have been succeeded by.
Yeah.
Which found itself stiff competition with Sony's PlayStation. It got destroyed in America by the PlayStation, as did everything else that came out in the same vicinity, in the same time period. All right, PlayStation Plus games. What do we got?
We have several titles. These are your extra and premium.
Okay.
Starting with your extra tier, we've got Tiny Tina's Wonderland Next Level Edition for PS4 and PS5.
You were close.
This Tiny Tina.
Yeah,
we're gonna will it.
I feel like we got this. No, we got that little side game before this one came out.
Did they give us Borderlands 3 at one point?
I want to say
what was
yes.
the side game? I think it
was supposed to be DLC for Borderlands 3, but it was like our own sub adventure that turned into this full game. That was a sequel to it. So
gotcha.
If I remember correctly.
And I saw a lot of people bemoaning the fact that this is now included with their subscription when months ago they spent, the full $60 on it.
This is a recent release?
That's how it goes.
Maybe the past year?
I mean, I want to say it came out about a year or so ago, maybe a little bit more, honestly. Resident Evil 2.
Good title.
Which we talked about last week going into Game Pass.
Yeah.
And that is for PS4, PS5.
Yeah.
Hard Space Shipbreaker for PS5. Lego City Undercover for PS4.
Oh, I thought you said Shipbreaker. I was like, whoa, I had to go back and look at this.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Shipbreaker. What's a shipbreaker?
I just heard what I wanted to hear.
Breaker, shipbreaker. Renee, is that a trucking thing? Is that a radio call back and forth? Is it a trucking game, the Shipbreaker?
No.
The space trucks.
Space trucking.
Trucks. I don't know.
I think I remember reading online it's supposed to be pretty good.
This was a Vinny game back from Giant Bomb days, if I remember right. I think Vinny and Brad played a lot of this. The simulation stuff.
I've heard it was.
Might also be a Russell game. I was trying to read this.
I feel like
he might have. I was trying to read the description. I just glanced down and read Claire Redfield, and I was like, I don't think she's in this game. But I jumped back up to Resident Evil 2.
With the right mod.
Yeah, probably is. Probably isn't a mod.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Just Cause 3 for PS4. Sessions Skate Sim for PS4, PS5. Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun for PS4. Vampire the Masquerade Swans. How many different versions of this game?
I don't know.
Fucking
for PS4 and PS5.
And it's like that whole universe.
How do you figure this out? It's like the Wonder Boy Venture Island thing.
I mean,
Monster Boy.
What I've read online, like none of these are like very high tier. So
there's one vampire game that really needs to be played. Maybe like the main one, but the rest of these, is it like Warhammer?
Yeah, what was the main one? God, what was that one that everybody? It was.
I felt like it was for PC, and then they've spent like 5 years trying to re-release that.
On the sequel, yeah. They keep restarting it. Like,
but there's also like a VR one. Draw and Grave says 3 or 4. I'm assuming it's over this. And Draw and Grave also brings up, what are our thoughts on Enigma, DRM, and Capcom? Have y'all touched on any of that DRM stuff? Yeah. They started injecting it in certain games.
Oh yeah. So
we can veer off.
I didn't see any articles, but yes, real quick before. Well, actually, let me say Surviving the Aftermath for PS4, and then we'll move on to the premium after we talk about this DRM.
Chad also said Masquerade. Is that the one, Vampire Masquerade?
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade. Bloodlines 2 is the one that they keep fucking remaking every 5 years that they never release. It's like the new
I'm so confused. I know less about this than I did going in.
All right. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is the popular one that came on PC.
Okay.
And everything else has been a fucking offshoot since. That's been like not from, I don't know. I haven't played any of them, but from what I've been told, they're not.
Vampire the Masquerade Soul Reaver 2 was the subtitle.
I worked with somebody at Geek Squad who was LARPing in real life based off Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Like, they would go meet up and it would get with that.
Go on.
Okay, then.
because I would walk out the room after that. It's like, it's too more.
Cesar, how many buttons would you unbutton out of your buttons to signify the steaminess of the LARPing?
I mean, there was no clothes on, so that should.
Chad, that's all the buttons. Chad put in the chat Revelations 1, and he's just making stuff up now or quoting the Bible, so we're going to move on from there because I still have no clue what's happening. Brant, you're going to finish out this list before we pivot to DRM? Brant, give me the digital rights management. He's investigating something.
Yeah, we'll finish this up real quick.
Surviving the aftermath.
So your PlayStation Premiums,
these
are your classic titles. So you get the games above plus these classics. Rallycross for PS4, PS5.
I need to try this out. I don't think I have Rallycross.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace for PS4, PS5. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection for PS4.
Digital Eclipse joint.
Legends of Mana for PS4.
For my Portal, I think I already actually own this PS5, PS4 copy.
Secret of Mana for PS4. Says additionally, pleased to share the Select series from Crunchyroll will be available in PlayStation Plus Premium Deluxe members via Sony Picture Core.
Does it say which series those are, or did y'all look that up?
Starting on January 15th for the Netherlands, Portugal, Portland, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland.
Thank you.
So it
yes,
doesn't seem
all
like
of
any
all of our audience is encapsulated by this region.
Okay.
Just to note, the Secret of Mana is that PS4 remake, like the 3D-ish one. Have y'all messed with that at all? 3-player local co-op, that'd be fun.
Not at all.
I bought it because it was like a GameStop exclusive when the physical one came out. Remember that? Get it here for $20. We're printing. I think was that part of that GameStop publishing thing they did at the time? Like Song of the Deep? I might be misremembering. Do we know anything about the Crunchyroll thing? You guys have your own Crunchyroll subs, right?
I think all they're doing is taking Select series and putting in that core thing that makes it part of that process. It's similar. It's something, ever since Sony has bought Crunchyroll, they're trying to get anime more exposure. So they have a channel that's free that has Select anime and only dubbed only. That's going to be on the Roku channel. And it's going to switch out shows every so often that is not paid. It's kind of like one of those television ones like Pluto TV. So they did that, and I think they added a $7.99 channel. You can purchase a channel now with Amazon Prime, so you don't have to have a subscription directly through Crunchyroll if you have Prime. I mean, you can go in there and add it to one of their channels. So they're doing. It's just more stuff to trying to get anime exposure out there.
Right.
Because they bought Crunchyroll.
Put out the samples in the hopes that you get hooked on a series and that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Chad saying in the chat, Resident Evil Revelations 1 has the new DRM. And he also said he beat Secret of Mana remake and it's good.
So
I think I took a performance hit or something like that, right, Brant?
Yeah. So
Revelations 1.
So Capcom has this is their big thing is they consider modding a form of cheating, and their whole thing is fighting game mods. So, like the picture I'm looking at here is literally it's Leon Kennedy. Trying to hold off the Chainsaw Man, but the Chainsaw Man has been modded to be Shrek,
the ogre.
Yes,
not the animated Chainsaw Man from the anime. I was getting excited when you were telling me that. I was like, oh.
Not gonna lie, you had Cesar in the first half.
I was like, oh.
So
you lost me at Shrek.
They are retroactively adding DRM protection to some of their games. It's called the Enigma engine. Or Enigma Protector.
Ooh, Chad says 15 frames per second.
Yeah. It's seemingly breaking modding community and cheat engines. Also breaking the compatibility with some Steam Deck models.
Does the Steam Deck not hand off the DRM or something?
I don't know. Let's see. The games that it's been added to are Mega Man Zero, ZX Collection.
I thought about getting that recently,
Mega Man Battle Network.
That's not good.
Ghost Trick.
That's not good. These are recent collections.
Resident Evil Revelations.
That's a 3DS game, but I understand what you're saying.
I think I got the 3DS copy.
Toyons.
Oh yeah, I've got the 3DS version with its
Are there
Revelate
any that are
songs.
not misprinted?
I'm
I
looking
think
at it
we
right
all
now.
have the
Oh yeah,
misprint.
yeah, they redid them.
Yeah, they redid them. So I think if you bought them day one, you had the
That
misprint.
makes
and
sense. Chad said
everything, so.
he points out that Linux doesn't like the DRM. The Steam Deck, of course, is a Linux machine, so it balks at the DRM in there. That makes sense. So we're gonna get a Proton
Yeah,
patch for the Enigma DRM.
let's hope so. Many people are saying, yeah, it's breaking compatibility with the Steam Deck completely.
Same thing with the DRM that was in Halo, right? That was kind of its thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Capcom can do whatever the hell they want, but as far as I'm concerned, DRM, it sucks. Um, Most of the time, it doesn't allow you to play the games that you want to play when you want to play them because they have to be connected to the internet. A lot of the times, we're seeing more and more companies add DRM to the games, and it takes a performance hit, like a big performance hit. Um, and to just, I can understand not wanting people to cheat in game, but I mean, we're talking about the ones they added it to Mega Man games
and old ones like as Jim Ryan would
Mega
say,
Man,
who's even playing those games?
and Resident Evil Revelation. We're talking about single player experiences. Right. What is that hurting?
Speedrunners, the speedrunning community.
Like,
what are they protecting there?
Yeah, there's no online player versus player experiences. You're not cheating anybody else out of anything else.
Wasn't a big part of Dragon's Dogma all the crazy mods and stuff that people put in that one too? Another Capcom game? Didn't it benefit from all the crazy shit that people would put in there, Skyrim style? Thomas the Tank Engine is a dragon. That specifically was Skyrim. Chad said he'd rather just have refunds for his games. It's kind of a valid point. But then they'll probably see what I paid for some of these Steam games, and it's like, maybe they'll fix it. I'll keep that license for the $1.50 that I spent, or the Humble Bundle that you sent me that in.
I mean, I remember back in the day, I think me and you both robbed Capcom with their Resident Evil pack on Xbox.
Yes.
Price.
I think everyone.
And we got like every Resident Evil game for like.
It was cheaper than that. It was stupid. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That was all of them, wasn't it?
All of them, but the 7 and 8.
Were they out yet? Maybe 7 was kind of new. All right, last but not least, speaking of old games, Jim Ryan. This comes from Video Games Chronicle and Andy Robinson. Nintendo's Golden Sun RPGs are coming to Switch Online. Golden Sun and its sequel were first released for Game Boy Advance. This is, of course, a Nintendo and Capcom joint venture released in 2001 and 2002, respectively. Those will be released January 16th. We couldn't figure out, like, it was based off time zone, right? We couldn't figure out January 16th, whether it was here or there. Or by the time you hear this episode, you will be able to download Golden Sun.
It'll be up.
And Golden Sun, The Lost Age.
I was about to say, a lot of the times, I mean, we'll be sitting here and like 9, 10 o'clock, they'll just go live anyway, so.
There was an issue of Nintendo Power, and I've talked about it on the show before, and I drooled over the screens of Golden Sun as they were coming out. And I was like, I cannot believe this is on a Game Boy. And, maybe it came out about a month after I got my GBA, and I played with no light in the hallway. I was like laid out in the hallway with the light over me, playing that. I printed out the strategy guide from GameFAQs so I could get all the Jin. Because in this game, if you don't get all the Jin, you don't get the highest summons. Because each Jin like unlocks a... they're like little creatures, like little Pokemon creatures, and you have to find them. They're littered throughout the world. You don't have to catch them, if I remember right. You just pick them up, right, when you find them. The first one's like sitting in your path as you leave that opening town. And man, the sound on this game, the battles, the music, it's so good. And then the second one like picks up right where that one leaves off, and you're all of a sudden the antagonist of the first game. And that whole premise lost me completely. So that's almost like the Halo 2 moment where we didn't want to play as the monster. It's like, why would you want to do this?
Yeah, I never got far in the second one.
God, I played the shit out of that first game. I freaking loved it, man. It was a full-fledged RPG on a handheld.
I probably put more time in that DS sequel than I put in that second one. That second one,
I didn't either. You hated these people the whole time, and then all of a sudden it twisted on you because the first one, I guess spoilers, but it kind of has a very pseudo ending. It doesn't really end. It's
You got to play the second one.
it's very much telling you like the golden sun will rise again or something like that. It just hands off. It's a Halo 2 ending. It's got more Halo 2 than.
We should have known better because it's fucking Camelot, and they did that shit with Shining Force 3 all the time. There's 3 different versions of Shining Force 3 where you got to play all 3 of them to get the complete story. I mean, they're known.
Brand, are you familiar with this series at all? I mean, I know you know they're revered. Yeah.
Yes, I know they're revered. I have both of them physically, but I've still never played them. I've seen other people like play around with, and like you said, the cutscenes, the music, everything was always like mind blowing for the time.
The Camelot
on the Game Boy Advance, it was like, oh my gosh, that's on a handheld.
The Camelot method of storytelling, like where the characters have the emotions that kind of pop. I guess they're emotes now. 20 years later, that's what you call them, but they convey things like they wince when there's something that like strikes them, and they're absolutely fantastic. The music's glorious. They seem to do a good job. The GBA notably doesn't have a great sound chip, but they seem to do a good job with these ports that they don't sound horrible when you play them. I know that Minish Cap run that I was doing sounded great. These are fantastic games. Download Golden Sun if you have the Online Plus expansion so that we get more Golden Sun. Vote with your downloads. Is that what we're doing now? Don't vote with your wallet. Vote with your downloads. I like that.
Maybe.
Well, shoot, that's not even a download. You just access it from the...
Let it update. Vote with your updates.
Update the app.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have new games available.
It's all the update.
Yep.
It's all the update camera.
Doodle-doo. Doodle-doo. It's those little tiles flip over.
You have new games available. It's kind of exciting. And then sometimes I'll go in the NES one and I just see it's like in the import version of the game. Okay. Or what were they doing with the NES and Super Nintendo? It was like a plus version or something. Like it's almost like Metroid with everything unlocked and you get to play
SP or something like that. Yeah.
You're the final boss with all overpowered bullshit and beat the game.
Here's F-Zero SP where you never take damage. You just fly through everybody, try to complete the course. Yeah. Which is cool. Mm-hmm. Little ROM hacks, basically, that they released officially. A neat little touch.
We'll just wait for Capcom to patch it.
Minish Cap? That's a Capcom game. That's how you said it. You brought it upon us. Mm-hmm. Oh, what else could they come after? The Street Fighter collection?
Didn't they have that like Ghosts and Goblins spin-off in there? What was it, Gargoyle or something like that? Wasn't that part of that?
Gargoyle's Quest? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are on there. That was one of my first 3DS Virtual Console Game Boy games. I was like, man, this cartridge is expensive. And the Vanishing Spirit, the ghost one, that game's expensive.
I still remember returning that copy of Ghosts and Goblins for PSP at your store.
That game's hard as shit. It didn't really hold its value, right? It's pretty inexpensive now.
I think I rebought it when it was on that Best Buy $10 sale when we went there and cleaned up all those games. I remember I was like, yeah, I'll buy it.
Because it ghosted so bad. Speaking of Ghosts and Goblins, but it ghosted so bad on that PSP screen, that first one. It was like snaking all over the screen.
And now you're not buying any video games from Best Buy.
Also true. We got to touch on that at some point. Target's going that way. They're going to force us back to GameStop? Is GameStop going to survive because everybody rolls over and takes it? Is that what's going to happen?
I guess so.
GameStop sucks. Cesar and I were in one last week, and it's just like, it's insane to me that a new release game that you know has used copies floating about, there's none whenever you search on their website or something, there's 0 within 50 miles. It's like, how with all these GameStops in this area, there's nobody trading in this newly released game. I guess nobody buys physical media anymore. This is the Target and Best Buy response, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about real estate in stores.
There's nothing in there. There was nothing in there to look at.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Because it's like they're all getting less and less.
No, there's Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I mean, we went into the other day. What was it? Mostly just merchandise in there, right?
Yeah.
Had your favorite NASCAR person in there.
Yeah, they got sports icons as Funko Pops. This is so great.
That's not me.
That's not me.
What was his name? He was in there.
That was an individual we were with that enjoys racing. I do not enjoy racing. Or people on Twitch playing racing games. Let's move on to games played. Warzone, as usual, for me. We got to win.
I mean, you had some.
I had some angry Warzone, but we got a water win. That was the three of us. The three of us got a water win. Remember we played. Yep, we played trios.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brand's like, I'm already here. Brand's like, I'm already here.
Thinking inside the box says Funko shirts and generic PC peripherals. That's about right. It's the bottom barrel. The circle was on Vondel and it closed in like on a trailer, right? And it was down to one person. We failed a couple rounds before that. One person took out all three of us, which is the ultimate embarrassing Warzone. So we got our revenge. I heard them above me. I was in the water and you guys were like flushing them out. And you did. You pushed them into the water and they still got shots on me somehow as they were running from you guys. But I laid into them and it was a water win. And
your famous words. That's right. Come
to my
domain.
Yeah, I was vibing on the domain. I was like, don't come down here. Yeah. It's not gonna go poorly for you. I wanted to be in the water, man. It's that new map. And Cesar touched on this because we finally had a couple good rounds on it. We didn't talk about this. Cesar and I had a lunch round where I swore I was going to uninstall that game. I was like, I'm done with this game. It is not fun to me anymore. And we're just getting killed off of rooftops on those new maps. It has no way for us to play the way we normally play. And then it clicked. Cesar came up with it. We're like pushing to the middle. We're trying to get our shit and like push to the middle instead of riding the gas. So he and I did a round where we like looked to see where the circle was going to close in. We kind of rode the gas. We took some hits on the gas mask back and forth. And we came in second or third on that one, Cesar. Like they had the high.
Oh, we murdered.
Yeah.
We murdered so many people doing that.
We got in. People were trying to flank us from behind. We got in shootouts like vertically as the gas was moving in. And people were jumping over stuff. Like we were winning those shootouts. I was so sick and tired of like 1v1. I'm going to lose. And it's just. What am I doing differently here? I got my loadout. I got a great M4. I'm getting headshots. I watch the kill cam. It's like, I'm tearing you up. Like, what's happening here?
I've seen a couple of those where I shot them like every clip in there, and they just didn't take any damage. And I'm like, I don't get it.
And I'm usually watching you at that point, so it's like, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what you could do differently. And they're already like hitting a claymore or something, so you know they're wounded and they got no shields. And then it's like, sure, okay, that's fine. And the pop up, lay down, pop up, lay down, pop up, lay down that you can't ever get a shot on. It's like, okay, what am I doing here? Are you, these are PC macros or what?
We're all spending $250 on controllers so we can cheat the system.
Not that dedicated.
Even the playing field. So we can just hit the back button once and we're like, ooh, like it's going up like golfers.
Go on. How much are these controllers?
I would do it just for I would laugh my ass off if all three of us just going up and down like, ooh.
Just a wall of us. We just alternate like a firing line in the Revolutionary War or something.
Like the old man from State Farm.
Oh.
Like, we almost got us. Oh.
Stalingrad, the man in the front gets the ammo, the one in the back has the gun. We just we fall into those positions back and forth where you can never actually hit the right person.
Constant confusion instead of confusion always.
So my faith in Warzone, I guess, is redeemed. I just haven't had time.
I mean, as long as it's not fucking big team battle, man, I can't stand big team
We didn't
battle.
play any more Halo since last week, I don't think. So yeah, I didn't dip back in there
As long as
either.
we don't play big team battle, man, I hate fucking big team
Yeah, the
battle.
vehicles have officially ruined that for us at the time. Do we need to go back into custom games maybe, or just big team Fiesta when they bring it back?
Can we just do big team snipes only, man? I don't even like sniping, but I'd rather have that. That's like way more fun than 85. Like everybody and their mom's in a Scorpion, but us. And we're just getting massacred because they're all in Scorpions and Wasps. Like we can't even get in the vehicle because by then they're just blowing us up as soon as we walk on the field.
So much fun.
I hate big team battle.
I downloaded the demo for Prince of Persia, but I believe Cesar has played a good bit more of that than I. I liked everything I played of it. Great movement. Almost like a 2D God of War is what some of the combat feels like with counters and jumps, and it's just extremely polished. I would never have thought we would get a Prince of Persia like this, right? With it being a 2D element and almost Metroidvania-esque. I only played the demo, so I know some of those areas were like closed off and stuff, but we can segue to you, Cesar, with your experience with the game. It unlocked early for you, right? That's a disclaimer, maybe? We didn't get an advanced copy or anything?
Premium edition.
No. So yeah, I got 10 hours into it. I'm about a little bit over halfway. I got access to the final area. I just got to get the last bit of power.
How long are they saying it runs? Have y'all seen that anywhere? Because it's getting unanimous praise essentially.
I mean, you probably beat the story in like 10 to 15 hours. I mean, to do everything in that game is probably like 25 maybe, because there's a lot of shit scattered throughout. Like, it's the standard Metrovania type game. There's a whole bunch of stuff all over the place. A lot of it you can't get access until you get the full powers later on as you get other stuff, because that's what I was doing before we started, because I finally sat there for the last hour trying to beat a fucking boss. And I was like, well, fuck. And I said I ran around and got another war and leveled up my weapons, and that was the great equalizer for me, because I got tired of seeing the game over screen saying, oh, maybe you should level up your weapons. It's like, God damn it, I already did. So
game over, level up.
But,
did it sing to you?
Yeah. Game over, maybe you should try this. It's like, stop giving me advice and just load the level again. That's usually what I get when
you're like, I've got a strategy. Let me keep going at it.
Yeah. Because most of them, I mean, most of the bosses, I mean, some of them were difficult, but most of them was just getting the pattern down. And, like, they all had different types of patterns. So, like, the Force, the last one was, like, a Force Witch type character, which she rides on, like, a giant dog, which has a bit where when you beat her, it's a standard, like battles of threes. So, like, she'll change up her style each time. And it's like, there was a bullshit one where she spawns, like, fucking the Naruto Clonjutsu shit, where it's like 85 of her just coming at me at once, and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta stop with this shit, man. It's like, some of it is just you have to take.
Are most of them shadows? You have to find the real one, like that element.
No, they're all fucking real, man. It's just like one's coming straight down for you, and there's two coming from the side and shit like that. It's that standard Metrovania stuff when the bosses are very difficult. It's like that. It's just some of it you just have to. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten into a boss battle where I felt like I was overpowered. So a lot of it's like I had to die a couple times, kind of like Metro Dread, where I had to like get a feel of it. And by then, you know, after I get in a rhythm, it's easy after that. So it's like, it's just getting into a rhythm, because like when the first boss battle was a Manticore, and it wasn't that bad. Like the rhythm on that one was pretty good, but like this Force Witch one, it's
fair though. Like I was taking hits in the demo just to try to figure out the pattern. Like, what am I supposed to do? What are they expecting me to learn from this punishment? I guess as he's stabbing me over his shield with this spear thing.
So it's like you said. So I mean, you always have a flash of yellows and ones you can counter, and you get a special move on there. And there's the red ones which are uncounterable. Like that last boss I was like, every fucking one she had on there was red. I mean, there was only one bit where she jumped off the dog, and you can do the counter, and it takes it for big damage.
So a small window.
And if you time it correctly, well, a lot of it you're just using your powers to dash about. So I mean, all three of us I think have played the demo. Yep. So I'll make a long story short, I bought the digital copy. I bought the deluxe edition. Deluxe edition unlocks 3 days early. That's what I'm playing it now. The game doesn't officially come out till Thursday for the standard or physical copies. So, the demo was I was wondering why I didn't carry your save data over, but I see why, because the demo gives you a good bit of powers in the very beginning of the game and a little bit of story. But as you start the game, you start off on like this war, which had nothing to do with the demo. And it kind of sets up the backstory of why you're in that city to begin with.
Yeah.
Like in the demo, you're just in that city. You're looking for the prince, and then you have a little bit of powers, like you can do the time dash, and you have different magical attacks. I forgot what they call them in that game, but like this one, you have to earn all that stuff. So I was like, I kind of missed it when I was in there, because like shit, I had all this stuff on there. But you know, as you go through, you unlock all that stuff. It's the same progression on there, and then you open up. It's the same standard Metrovania map. It opens up and it shows the rooms you've been in there. I think the one thing it does different, it has like these memory. I forgot what they call it. It's like a memory location where you can kind of look at something that's interesting.
That's a great
snapshot,
feature.
Put it on the map.
That's a great feature.
You can look at it. That way you can look at it like, damn, I remember there's something in here. What was it for? You can look at it like, oh, I don't have that ability yet, so there's no reason for me to go there yet. So it's kind of like you're not running around trying like, oh, fuck, I can't.
That should be in every Metroidvania of this type game. That's such a novel concept.
But if you play the demo, it plays just like that. I'm not going to go into too much details.
It was a good demo. It was an accurate demo.
You know oh yeah.
That movement is so good.
It feels like it's what you. They've done really well. I mean, this is what they call a AA game. They said this is what the future is, which I think Microsoft's pretty good about doing. They've been doing like
more of
AA
these
games for a while.
More of these,
and
please.
I think, Ubisoft, because I think Sony made a comment that they said that was the future too. Was they're looking at doing AA games because the AAA game costs were too expensive. So, and rightly so, because I think you look at the Spider-Man one, I think that most of the money for Spider-Man went to labor, which makes sense because they were paying everybody's salary. So that was why that game was so expensive. And the internet, being the internet, everybody's bitching like, we'll pay them less. But I got out of that Twitter feed. I was like, man, y'all some dicks, man. But neither here and there. But
like this is where I thought games were going to go, like PS2, PS3, right? Man, when you would play Prince of Persia on Super Nintendo, and then we get more powerful machines. It's like, okay, what does that adaptation look like now? We got the 3D ones, which are great, and Prince of Persia maybe not be the best example because it constantly reinvents himself. When the internet, as Cesar mentioned it, was bashing the look of this prince, you had the creator of the Prince of Persia, Jordan Mechner, out there. He tweeted an infographic of like all the different princes from the series. It's like it's changed every single time. It's always a new iteration of. And it's not like Link. It's not this elfish character over all these different years. The prince always has a different look to him, just about, unless it's like the Sands of Time trilogy, right? But this is what you would have thought Prince of Persia would turn into for like PS3, PS2, with graphical powers that they had and that sort of thing. And it's a fantastic adaptation.
This plays like a true sequel to the PC version, like you said, the original Prince of Persia. I mean, because it has that same structure in there with the puzzle solving, the traps, the enemies, how they're scattered about.
With the benefit of 30 years of video game mechanic evolution.
Right. They just took that whole Metroidvania type style and applied it to it, which it works. It doesn't feel like it's out of place. It does it well. It keeps it interesting. I think I spent 10 hours playing it today. I didn't plan on spending
it. Got
you.
Like,
I'll play
it got its hooks in you.
Talk about it now, and I sat there and there. It was pretty good. So it's pretty good, and I think the aspect that I enjoyed the most is I'm not going to touch on the story. The story is very good. I do like time-based stories, so there's a lot of time-based. There's a lot of alternate dimensions. There's a lot of dimension hopping. There's a lot of world plane jumping. So it's like it's got that whole element in there as well. Like time doesn't, the area he rolls in doesn't flow the same. So you start talking to characters. It's like he's been there for 3 hours. He's talked to somebody he went in there with. There's like, man, we've been here for 3 days, and he's got people that have been dead for 100 years in there. So it's like that place they're at. It's like time is all over the place.
That's awesome.
Up. It's pretty good, man. The story in there is really, really good. So like, there's some shit that just happened now, and now you get a clear cut who the villain is in this whole story, and that's where it's heading towards right now for me right now. But yeah. I mean, to add on, it works. It works very well. It's a very good game. So it's crazy to say January's up there, and this is like one of those ones that probably I would remember at the end of the year so far. So, outside of that, and I'll segue to what Brent has to talk about the demo. I did beat Wild Arms. That was what I was working on this weekend. So
Wild Arms for PS1. That's great.
Yeah, because I'm almost done with Metal Gear on PS1. I'm just going to go through a whole bunch of PS1 games this year. Hopefully,
the year of the PS1.
I'll go through that too. Yeah. But yeah, that one, I finished that one out where it jumped around, where you end up killing the mother, which was a demon on there, and then she comes back and ends up re-merging with her son Siegfried, because he's back and like, oh, I'm going to rule this planet, and now he's back, I'm going to destroy it, and so you just go through this whole bit where they just end up saving the world at the end of it. I won't go into too much details about it, but it was a standard RPG one. I mean, I never beat the one. I wanted to go through. I've beaten Wild Arms 1 before, so it's not a big deal. I platinumed it. I did everything in the game. I did all the bosses. It didn't take me long. It was like 33 hours. I've beaten this game like a shit dozen times. The only one I never beaten was 2. For whatever reason, I got to that hidden character where you find the vampire girl. I don't know what the vampire people being optional characters you can recruit and don't have to. It was an optional character in that game too, Wild Arms 2. I remember getting her, and then I never beat it. So I'm going to go through Wild Arms 2 and played it.
What are these available on?
2, 3. So.
What'd you play?
I think they're all PS4, PS5. They're all.
Are they on? Are they in the classic subscriptions, or are they SKUs that you buy?
You can buy them separately.
You can do both.
You can buy it separately. You can get them both. Yeah, you can do both. I think both of mine came from the purchases I made on PS3. I didn't pay any money for them, so I think they're just on there. Like, because even if you go to the subscription, it gives you an option to buy them if you don't own them. But this one just said download. I didn't have the option to buy, so it was pulled for my. I
still need to dip back into the PS3 and get Alundra for $6. Do you remember what you have to do? Is that buying a PlayStation card? Is that what we have to do right now?
I think you add funds to the
your wallet. You can add them to your wallet from the website or just your
and
PS5.
Then just sign in on PS3 and it'll reflect it and spend it there.
It'll be right in there.
Your wallet follows
Beautiful.
you. Yeah, your wallet follows you. My only complaint with the fucking emulators on that one thing is like I need the ability to fast forward because I get in so many battles or turn off random battles because that shit kills. Because I'm going through dungeons and try to solve shit, and that's the stuff I do not miss from the old school RPGs where I'm getting into a battle every 15 seconds and I'm like, I need to get to over here. I get in the battle, it's like, all right, what the fuck was I doing again? Because I sat there for 5 minutes in the fucking battle. So, and I forget, like, all right, now I end up going the wrong way and get into another fucking battle.
Rogue
That's the only
Galaxy
thing I
did
hate.
that to me. I didn't touch much on it this week because I didn't play a whole lot. But I've gotten to a point in Rogue Galaxy where I don't know where to go. And to pull up the map I'm playing on the PlayStation Portal, I cannot consistently get that start button to work on that right side of the touchpad thing. I know you were talking about that with Alan Wake, but it is so aggravating because the tutorials in that game make you hit start and it's totally random. And I'll just sit there and spam it for 10 seconds trying to get start to work.
Double tap works for me on there because I played so many of the Wild Arms on there. Double tap works to get the start menu up. So.
If you get a chance, I know you have Rogue Galaxy. Will you fire that up and just like go through a tutorial at the beginning and see what it does? See what it does on your portal? Just out of curiosity, like if
Richard, throw away.
I'm not throwing it away. It killed it for me. I got to the point where I was like, I'd rather just start over on PS2.
That one plays fine on PS5, right? Because I know Okage does not play good on PS5. I had to put my PS4.
It's been flawless for me, performance-wise and everything. It's just
okay. They usually warn you, like Okage. When I played Okage on PS5, I was like, hey, this game might fuck up, and it's like it doesn't show all the polygons correctly. Like some of my characters are see-through, and I have to like fire it up the PS4 and play that one because it plays like shit on PS5.
You know, most games like it says press start to continue. You can hit X or something, right? And I was praying like, please God, let me get through this with this, and it just does not work. And it's tutorials which ate me up in the beginning, and I almost said fuck it. And now it's the map is tied to start, and to try to find out where I'm at, I'm just spamming that thing, and it might be just old enough to where I'm like, I think I'm done with this, or I switch to PS2. Back to you in Wild Arms.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was it. I beat it, so I beat my first game of the year.
Did it have an anime outro like it does the beginning, the intro?
It was like it was a really bullshit one. Like I remember it was. It was like still images from the strategy guide and just music playing over as they go over the still images, which was a North America exclusive. I got to play the Japanese ROM and see what it's because that movie at the end was made from North America. That was not
still
made
a big deal at the time to have CD quality music and probably high resolution graphics, probably 480i graphics on the.
The only true in the very beginning with the theme song, that was it. So, but when you fire up the second one, it's like the quality animation is so much better. So
yeah,
like
but that art style was a lot different, if I remember right.
The character design is different.
Yeah.
I mean, by then everything was trying to mimic Final Fantasy, so they were trying to make more lifelike characters by then. So, what they could. So, I mean, that style did change up.
Give us more Wild Arms.
That sequel came out like 4 years later. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll kick it over to Brant. So finish up.
I did mention that. Yes, I played the Prince of Persia demo. Like both of y'all said, it's an amazing demo. Y'all like to tease me because you were downloading it, and then I think Cesar was playing it and was saying that it's a Brant game.
Yes, I know. I put out there it's a Brant game. This is definitely a Brant game.
So damn, those hard ass Metroidvanias, I love those. So, and just from that tiny vertical slice we got in that demo, I thought the game's amazing, and it's definitely going to be a day one.
It's good. Great start to the year, right? Like we were all silently pulling for this one, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to beat that and the other games I'm playing in order to play the Final Fantasy VII Part Dos coming out. Yeah,
I kind of want to go
next month.
I want to go through the first one again. So before.
Damn, I still got to go back and play the DLC. I never played the Yuffie DLC.
I mean, we need you and Richard to play it. I think you're further than Richard. So
I'm on chapter 2.
Oh yeah, I beat. I
streamed that first chapter for like an hour, and then that's where I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Richard, you sitting there playing 10 when you should be playing 7 on your portal.
Yeah, I didn't play any more 10 either. I downloaded a couple more
Oh,
games. I love having that extra storage on PS5. I don't even clean out the fridge anymore. I just send shit to the PS5.
And then once Brant's done here, we need to circle back so you can
Oh.
talk about your Gears of War.
I was
Oh,
about to say, you
Gears!
didn't
Yeah,
mention
Jeremy would
Gears.
get mad at me if I didn't bring up Gears of War.
You finished? You done, Brant?
Real quick, I sat the family down and said, "Hey, we need to go back to Super Mario Brothers Wonder." And
Okay.
we played several hours worth
Excellent.
of it Sunday, and we have gotten to the lava level, which is like the last area that you need before you actually go to fight Bowser, go to the Bowser area. So we got pretty damn far because when we started, we had just exited like the first area, like World 1-1, basically when you play the game initially.
That's how far
and
I got.
gotten out in. Yeah, and got to the area where it kind of opens
And you see the
up,
big Bowser
there's
storm.
all the areas surrounded. Yeah. So yeah, we played the hell out of that game. I can see why it made Cesar's one of the top game of the years
It's good.
because, well, even that first part from the beginning, there was so much to that first little bit, and it's so different from a lot of the other Super Mario games. And those wonder when you get the wonder seed and it flips everything over and does all this crazy stuff. Well, you never know what the hell is going to happen, and there's some of them that are so nerve wracking, and you've got to outrun this thing, or you've got a time limit, and then there's other ones where like it stretches you out, or it turns you into an enemy, and it just kind of flips the whole gameplay on its head, and everything's done so smart, and it's super unique. And I can't wait to keep playing this
Extremely
game.
polished. Another example of
yeah.
like Prince of Persia being this 2D masterpiece of this is where we thought games would go as they got better and better graphics. It's still very much a Super Mario game, but you can do so much more with it with a NVIDIA Shield graphics chip. That was a low blow.
And then I did actually start Assassin's Creed Mirage.
All right.
So
some old school Assassin's Creed action.
You play as this character named Balsim, who is like a kind of just like a all-around thief. He goes around stealing things to get paid by somebody, and he initially the beginning of the game you get a job from the assassins, and it's to go and steal this thing. And Balsim is like, guys, I'm like super useful, I could be doing so much more for you. And they're like, no, just go get the thing, bring it back, that's all we need you to do. So he does that, finds where the next item is going to be that the assassins want, and he takes it upon himself, like, oh, I'm going to go over there and show them how good I am, and I'm going to go do this. And he winds up getting in a little bit of trouble,
As one does.
and
Jumping into a haystack.
Eventually gets saved by one of the people in the order, and then goes with her and trains. And to me, like, the first part of that game was like a little slow,
Like tutorial wise.
It's kind of tutorial-esque, getting you used to the movement, the feel. But then once you get the title screen moment, after you've become this, full-fledged, there's literally a training montage in the opening of the game. That was a little cringy, but I'm like, okay, it's story purposes. I see, they're showing his development. He's getting better.
Unnecessary evil for the good of the series.
Yeah. But the story pops off. You're heading to Baghdad, where the main story is going to take place. And it just kind of, you get the title splash screen, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and then it opens up, and it is full-fledged old school Assassin's Creed. I'm freaking loving it. I don't think I played. What was it? I played Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I
That was
played
one of my pandemic games.
a tiny bit of Unity, I think it was, and was just kind of like, eh. And then every one since then, I was less and less inclined to get or play.
So that's our you kind of charted the
Um,
same path, right?
The only one I have not played is Unity. I had a co-worker at my job. He felt the same way. It was rocky on it, but I think he since went back through it, and he said it's one of the better Assassin's Creed
Wow.
he's played. It's aged
Okay.
a lot better. It's
Yeah.
something that's on my list to play because I never. It was that casualty at the beginning of the generation where it's like, I don't know if this is the right direction for it to go in. But then after those Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla was rubbing me the wrong way for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There, everybody went back to it. I was like, you know what, this wasn't so bad.
That's-
That's what a lot of
That's
coworkers were saying.
I was about to say I've got Origins up here that I think I got
Origins
on a
was
sale.
good. I enjoyed Origins, but after that it was.
Never dipped into Valhalla.
It's an important
so.
thing, like when we look at video game preservation and stuff, like there's burnout on these type of games, and then all of a sudden you go 5, 10, 15, 20 years without one, and suddenly these have aged way better because we haven't had a 2D Castlevania in so long, and now, remember they were coming out every year for GBA and DS, and then people were thirsting for them because it's been 20 years. Or Jak and Daxter. We used to have a Jak and Daxter game every year. Every fall was a Jak and Daxter game.
We even had a combat racing.
We did have a combat racing Jak and Daxter. Oh, we never got the Uncharted racing we were promised.
Still to this day, Assassin's Creed.
Ezio collection.
I want to say Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, I think, were right there, up on my top Assassin's Creed games.
I need to try that streaming again. I tried streaming that to my PS5 before I did all my network changes, and it was choppy as shit. I know Mermy in the chat's a big fan of that Ezio collection.
Oh, Ezio was a great character. His development throughout the whole thing was really great.
Yeah.
And those, I felt they really had everything down with that whole part of that game.
We got one of those every year. People got tired of that, and now Assassin's Creed has gone back to that, is the point we're making.
Well, Assassin's Creed started going bad when they took out Patrice off those games, so because he knew what he was doing when he made the first two, and then they started like, and then
Where
they
did he
fired him
go? Where did he?
secretly, So
What studio did he start
he
up?
went to. He ended up doing like his own like Anno something, and then he ended up getting purchased by Ubisoft again, and then refired again. So.
Thinking Inside the Box said they never played an Assassin's Creed game. They just said Ass Creed.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I've just dabbled. I bought into that first one, and that mechanic just got repetitive. But I know Assassin's Creed 2 was like a whole nother animal.
Yeah. Oh, I liked the first one. I really.
It was
did.
almost like a proof of concept,
those,
right? Like yeah.
Yeah. But.
I mean,
but
and
it was very clunky. It hasn't aged great.
But the payoff, like what Brand said, the payoff when you play the first one and you play the PSP one, and then you go into Brotherhood when he's in there going in with Altair and following his thing on there, it pays off because you look at Altair and he shows like who he gets married to and all this stuff, and you're like, oh shit, like it shows kind of like his end as well. So.
But yes, if you haven't played one, I actually
Revelations.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
I'd 100% recommend
Collection.
the new, the Ezio collection for sure.
Yeah.
The new Assassin's Creed Mirage. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. It's very indicative of classic Assassin's Creed.
I think a good price drop on it if it hits that one of those magic points.
Yeah.
You missed it, sir. Should've got the $95 version.
Oh no, the one you
We'll
sent us
update
last
you.
week in the chat, Hassan version. Hassan, $95 one. Is this still available? It's in my. It always pops up in my recently looked at. I'm like, I was not looking at this as some stupid shit Cesar sent.
Hey, it's when you send me shit for like eBay, and I'm like, you're still watching this?
No, I
I'm
just
like,
looked at
God,
it one time.
no.
Richard sent me
Like,
some dumb $800 NES game. I swear I'm not watching.
Like, yeah, and like it was like, hey, don't forget your $900 NES game. I'm like, no, stop showing me this shit. I'm gonna end up like, oh fuck, I forgot to buy that, and end up spending $900 on accident because I'm sitting there like not paying attention.
No, sir. Thinking Inside the Box, Mirage is not the Egypt one. Mirage is the brand new one. It is Middle East, takes place in
Iraq,
Baghdad.
Yeah. What present day
Egypt.
Iraq.
That is
Origins.
Origins, correct.
That's the RPG based one. That's when they changed up the battle system. Origins is good. It hits all the right notes and it does it in a solid adventure. I just tapped out when Odyssey and Valhalla when they were like 300 hours to do everything in the game, because like Origins was like 30, 40 hours. I was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. I played Odyssey for like the first couple hours, and I was like, I can't do this, man. It was so slow in the beginning, and I was like, I can't.
How long? Brant's saying this one has a slow start. What is that tutorial? It's not bad.
It's really not that bad. It just felt kind of slow.
And it's a great entry point, right? This is a good one to jump into.
Yeah.
I want to play it. Give me one of those 10-hour demos or whatever they play trials. Let me do a play trial and stream it at my portal.
3 is one of those where either you like it or you hate it. I'm kind of nah.
That might be my... No, I played Black Flag in the pandemic. I was about to say I played 3 on...
Black Flag is...
I had 3 on Wii U. The Wii U version.
I'm about to say you played Black Flag and...
Wind Waker at the same time on the Wii.
Your sailing.
The sail genre.
Your sail genre.
God, what was that? Almost 4 years ago at this point? I'm still in that same Earth Temple. At Wind Waker. I'm at the end of Wind Waker. It's not far.
Beat it.
It's not far.
No,
you gotta beat it.
Just wait until they put it on
Start
another console and play it then again.
Cesar's always killing me with this.
I'm waiting for them to remaster Tears of the Kingdom so you can actually beat it for the first time. So
I'll get it on that Switch DOS.
Not even then. It'll Switch 64 or something like that.
When they come out with the Breath of the Wild trilogy collection, it'll be all 3 of them. It'll be the next one also.
The complete book, and then you're like, oh, and then you just do the first part and be like, I don't feel like doing it.
It'll still only be 1080p, 60 frames per second. With some pop in.
Oh. All right, so round us out with your
Gears. After we basically took the holidays off, it seemed like our schedule didn't line up, but we're going to try to get back to those Gears Thursdays. We enjoy doing about an hour if y'all want to join us on the stream for Thursdays. It'd be nice to get y'all in the chat if you're online and you want to jump in the chat and just help with the commentary, or when we get to the Gears that have 4-player co-op, because those stories get up to that point too. But it's kind of fun having something just like Monday nights here. It's fun having something penciled on the calendar to knock out on Thursdays. We're Dom and Marcus, of course, as the 2 main characters of Gears of War, and we're in the Emulsion Factory. This was Act 3 we beat. So Emulsion is kind of what the humans on this planet Sarah were fighting over when the Locusts came out. So it was their power source. It was their gasoline, I guess, their fossil fuels. And then these things were living in the fossil fuels, and they came out angry and wiped out everybody. So that's kind of the backstory to it. And then you learn that the Emulsion has kind of turned these creatures, almost like the Flood in Halo, how you had an enemy and then there was like a sub-enemy that came out after that. So now we're getting emulsified versions of the Wretches and the Boomers and the enemies that were previously fighting of the Locusts. This is the battle, if you guys remember from the first Gears, you're on like these molten, you're on these rocks on top of the raw emulsion, and the big spider thing. What are those called in there? It's not berserkers. I can't remember the name of them, but it's the big crab, like bulgy eye spider things, and it's like it's coming towards you on these plates, and you have to first shoot it on the bottom and then shoot it in the eye. We're playing this one on easy. I'm pretty sure for Gears 2 we'll step it up to normal because we've got the hang of the rhythm of how the game plays, and neither one of us... I'm usually the stupid one that jumps in trying to chainsaw people and gets downed and makes us start over, but I haven't been doing that, and we're not dying. We're just kind of going through the story, so we'll kind of kick it around for Gears 2 maybe, but we're at the start of Act 4. So with each one of these playthroughs, we've been doing an act in an hour, basically. I don't know. I know the most recent one's going to be on Twitch. Do y'all remember how long Twitch saves these videos? Is it 30 days at our current tier, whatever we are? So probably Act 1 and Act 2 are not available anymore, but Act 3 definitely is.
It should be on YouTube, though.
I'm not broadcasting to both. I'm doing directly from the Xbox, and I'm not signed in. Yeah, I'm not signed into Restream or anything on that, so it's just a Twitch integration with that one.
Gotcha.
Unless we start paying for Restream. I don't know if it does for both, though.
It does from the PC. That's what we do here, but that'll be something to figure out later on.
Console
Yeah.
restream is different. You get like the PC set up on the Xbox One, but I don't know or if it splits out to different hosting sites.
And that's a 1080p.
Then
It's a
give me that
1080p
option.
60 game, so I could probably be okay running it through this capture card. But then we're just adding a whole bunch of extra elements to it. I'm kind of enjoying the simplicity. But Boosh is enjoying it. We have all kind of crazy hijinks. Thinking Inside the Box, as Restream does YouTube and Twitch free. Yep, that's how we do the show from here. But actually wiring up the Xbox and all that sort of stuff, that investment level. We're not doing this for a living. They start paying us to do this, I'll figure it out. I'll have it set up in an hour.
What? We'll have an actual studio?
At some point. That's always the goal. But that's the Gears update. Tune in. We're going to hope to do it this Thursday, so tune in this Thursday night. We try to do like 8:15 on Thursdays. That seems to work best. So we'll go from like 8:15 to about 9:30 on Thursdays. Gears Thursdays. The Adventures of Marcus and Dom.
Gears
Day. Happy Gears Day to all. To all a Gears night. I also was searching through... Brant, did you have anything else to touch on? I looked through Konami games. All Konami games from 1977 to like 1998. The only things that jumped out, like franchise-wise, right, is Lethal Enforcers, which is a light gun series. I don't really know what you would do with that in that Carbon engine. Boosh just said Anya in the chat. I knew that had to come out. Lethal Enforcers jumped out. We've already got Sunset Riders. They did a couple Goemon games. Even old school going into N64. I don't know what they would... I mean, they've done licensed stuff before, but I don't know. They've done Felix the Cat. Anything's on the table, right? And then Parodius. I know we got... Are any of those in the Shoot 'em Up collections? Have we seen, like, there's Sexy Parodius and Twin
Sexy
Beat?
Parodius?
Y'all don't know Sexy Parodius?
No.
I don't know if it was unreleased, but it was like a...
Fired it up. I don't know.
I can't remember the story of...
Doesn't say
What's
it on
that?
The back. That doesn't say it on the back. I have to fire it up on the arcades.
Oh, to see if the Parodius stuff's on there? Cesar showed the, what was it, Konami Arcade Classics for PS4 is the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing really jumps out. Like, I don't know what they would be.
Bomberman. Hudson Soft.
Yeah.
We're all gonna get fucking Bonk collection. We don't want it. We're gonna get.
Oh, I
get a
forgot.
Bonk
It is Hudson Soft. They absorbed Hudson Soft. Maybe that was the better list to look at, but I at least ruled out Konami, right? Brant, Sexy Parodius is a 1996 horizontal scrolling shooter arcade game developed by Konami. It is the 5th installment of the Parodius series. Like the rest of the series, it is a parody of the Gradius series and other Konami games. It also contains sexual level and enemy designs, as well as risque innuendo. Many level bosses are women in various erotic costumes, such as the bunny costume, modeled on Playboy bunnies, or various states of undress. Sexy Parodius. Came out on arcade, PlayStation, and Sega Saturn. Those are Japanese releases only for arcade, PlayStation, and Saturn. Sexy Parodius, it's a thing. All right, guys, got anything to add before we get out of here? Thank you guys for joining us. We had a very active chat that led into the DRM conversation and everything. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys chiming in and thinking inside the box, making us break down which Assassin's Creed games took place when. And a recommendation from our show to yours for some Splinter Cell content. Lambert.
Yeah, if you play Assassin's Creed, you play Assassin's Creed on the Xbox Series X. It looks good on there. It has that HDR
That's
and all
right.
that shit on there. It's probably the best version you can
It
play.
is. They did the Lord's work on that upgrade.
Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of enhancements on the
Thinking
Series X.
inside the box, mentioned in the chat, I'm curious about the XBLA creeds. I think those are great versions to get, right? When they go on sale. Like, get Brotherhood and Revelations and all those that are still on there. I think that's a great way to play them, is that backwards compatibility. You're going to get the best version without messing around with PC stuff. I know that much. And whatever Ubisoft DRM they've decided to inject into those.
I mean, just Assassin's Creed with HDR was nice. I can tell you that much. That's I enjoy that version more than the PC one. So
Trying to screw around with all that Uplay BS.
Yeah.
the PC version is littered with the Uplay stuff. Yeah,
I didn't touch on that. I know y'all knew I fell off of Far Cry 3, but every time I closed out of that on Steam Deck and had to go back into it, it was this whole jumping through hoops to try to do the Uplay, and I guess I've got two-factor turned on from that
kills it.
game from 2011, so it texts me every time I have to sign in with the Ubisoft Guard or whatever they call it. It's just like, good God almighty. It's still me on the Steam Deck. It's still me.
That fucking Ubisoft, I don't know if it's Uplay or whatever, that little interface. It's like I'm logged in when I play that Prince of Persia game, and it's like, I've been a member for 18 years. I'm like, holy shit.
Is it Uconnect?
I'm like,
Uconnect?
But
they called it something else before that. We've been through multiple iterations of this Uplay thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here like trying to fight a boss. It's like, you unlock something and Uconnect. I'm like, damn it, stop showing me this shit. Can I turn that off? I was like, man, it's covering up half the screen. I was like,
you just got 5 U-Bucks.
It keeps asking me when I play Assassin's Creed. It's like, oh, log in and you get this and this. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't give a shit.
Hell no. All right, we good? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week.
Richard,
stop. Halt.
I just saw a Bloody Roar collection.
What?
A Bloody Roar collection. Let's do it.
Is that a Konami franchise?
Yeah, it's a Hudson Soft. They acquired them with Hudson Soft.
Bloody Roar collection.
I've not played Bloody Roar.
Which one of those would go through that carbon engine, though?
1 and 2, probably. Not the GameCube one.
You made me think of Dead or Alive all of a sudden, and I was like, ooh, Dead or Alive, but that's Tecmo.
I love me some Bloody Roar, man.
All right, since we're going to do this, you want to look at the Hudson Soft games real quick? I'm still down to talk games. I wasn't ready to go. I'm still down to talk games.
Look, on this website right here, the Konami Wiki, it said the biggest games from Hudson Soft they acquired that are franchises was Bomberman, Adventure Island, Bloody Roar, Star Soldier, and Bomb.
Star Soldier.
But Star Soldier,
is on that Konami Arcade Collections.
Don't
forget Konami Classic Nuts and Milk. I mean Hudson Soft Classic Nuts and Milk.
I mean, fucking Twinbee's on there, so why not?
Yeah.
So.
Balloon Fight. I guess they helped out with, or that was the PC 8800 transfer. X1. They did Super Mario Brothers Special for that X1 computer. Go watch that if y'all have never seen that Hudson Soft port of Super Mario to the X1. It's bonkers. MSX Bomberman. Fire Rescue. Nuts and Milk again. Star Force. Wonder Boy. We've already had the Wonder Boy collections.
Yeah, we did.
It's got to be Bomberman, right? I think you're on to something, Cesar.
I mean, that's the only one that I think outside of the 64 ones.
Keith Courage.
Which I don't think...
Yeah.
I think they haven't got a 64. Well, they might be able to do... Well, no, I'll take that back because they had the Turok games and Shadow Man. It's not running on their engine, but it's running on that Night Dive engine.
But that's not Carbon, right? They specifically said it was going to be a Carbon one.
I mean... But they just, like I said, they just got the Gex games on that Carbon engine now, so they started getting into PS1 and Sega Saturn games on there.
Keith Courage, Bonk, Newtopia 1 and 2 from the TurboGrafx, the Zelda games.
I mean,
that could be it.
I mean, I don't know. Could be Tiny Toons Adventures, could be The Simpsons, could be G.I. Joe, could be The Goonies. I don't know. Who knows, man?
Yeah, I'm not wild about this breakdown on Wikipedia because it breaks it down by platform, so I'm like wandering through these. Dreamcast.
I just want Bloody... I'm just trying to manifest Bloody Roar, man. I know it's not going to happen, but I just want to manifest.
I'll take Bloody Roar. Let's get a...
I played some Bloody
Princess
Roar,
Tomato in the Salad Kingdom.
I still have that copy in my my Wii U. In the
Wii menu. They said it's going to be a collection, so it's going to... I'm leaning towards Bomberman also, which would be freaking dope.
It's probably Bomberman. There's so many games in that collection, man.
Find out soon. February 24th. We actually have a ways to go. All right, finally. We actually are getting out of here this time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.